questions so far? Any questions for me? Okay, let's move on. We're not going to read everything. I'm just going to pinpoint important things here. The login, if you have any difficulties with your system, if you have a Apple computer, I will not be able to help you on when it comes to logging in Canvas or MyLabs Plus. But you have the phone numbers to get help from right here. Here they are. The graphing calculator is optional. We recommend it, but it's optional. And there are restrictions. During a test, quiz, final exam, you will not be allowed to use these ones. You are allowed to use these, or anywhere between 81 and 86. That's okay. The catalog description of this class, the learning objectives, you can read them later. Actually, we're going to go over each and every one of them. So in class from now till the end of the semester. Communication policy, I respond my texts and emails the same day. I try not to make you wait. This is the way I calculate your grade. You have homework assignments in MyLabs Plus. They're called practice. So the math department came up with that selection of. So that's, I will not take credit for the homework sets that you will see in MyLabs Plus. They're made by the math department, and everyone has to use the same thing. So I'm not sure why they entitled them practice. I guess they are practice, but so it's called practice homework when you get to MyLabs Plus. Quizzes will be in class, 4 tests in class, and the final exam in class. Assignments start with reading. So no matter what we do here and how much we accomplish in class, it's not going to be enough to build your math skills and confidence. You still have to read your book. I highly recommend it. Read your text, review or watch the video lectures in Canvas as many times as you need till you understand the topic. Redo the problems we do in class as many times as you need till you understand them. So reading is one part of your homework. The homework in MyLabs Plus, also called practice, the class homework will be posted in Canvas. It's not going to be extensive, but I need you to turn it in every Wednesday, so I can take it home and look at it and see how where do you start with the problem? What is your thinking process or train of thought? How do you get from point A to point B in a problem? So I have to see it in your handwriting. And how, not typed up, nothing like that. I just need to see how you think about a problem. Quizzes will be in class, 10%, 4 tests and the final exam. I don't give makeup tests, and but I do replace the lowest test grade with the final exam grade. So if somebody, let's say, misses a test, it doesn't mean that you're going to fail the class. It only means that your 0 will be replaced by your final exam grade. If you get 100% on the final exam, then you're going to get that 0 replaced by 100%. Okay? Try it, though. Try not to miss class. Partial credit, I always give partial credit if you're on the right track. Extra credit, there is extra credit in all tests and the final exam. Attendance is very important. Not necessarily for your progress in my class. You may come in, take the test and the final exam, and you still get an A if that's your grade. So attendance does not get points. However, it will affect your financial aid. So if you miss class, I have to turn in attendance, and that if you have financial aid, that may happen. Doing what it's supposed to be doing, because I'm looking to see if what I'm recording, and for some reason it's not. Okay, much better now. Okay. How to study for this last day to withdraw, November the 22nd. If you think that this is not the class for you, you will be completely refunded for the course starting from, I guess, the way I understand it, starting from tomorrow, the next 5 days. If at the end of those 5 days you did not withdraw, in case that's what you want to do, I hope that's not the case, but then you will get less and less money back. Last day to withdraw, November the 22nd. Last day of class is December the 7th. And please make a note, our final exam is on Wednesday. So now, again, I'm not going to read this to you. I hope you're going to find the time to read. This is extremely important. I have 5 steps of how to study for this course. So I'm not going to read those steps, but I'm going to tell you what I would do if I were a student in this class. First of all, I would never miss class. Secondly, I will have 2 notebooks. One in which I take the notes in class and another one in which I redo all my notes at home. Every problem that was solved in class, I will redo it till I understand every step and how I get from the beginning till the solution. If I have questions, I will make side notes or even in a notepad if you want to have an additional notepad for questions. Bless you. And ask questions when you come back to class or to my office hours, or you call me, whatever you want to do. I would, after class, as I said, I would redo the notes, each and every problem. And after I spend all this time, I will flip to the end of the section, assuming we finished a section, 2 sections, whatever, per day. And I will select problems similar to the problems we did in class. For example, let's say we did problem 12 and 14. I will select 11, 13, and 15. Check the answer in the back, but only after I studied. If I just go home and just try to mimic something and say, oh, okay, let me do 15 because we did 14 in class, it's not going to work. So you still have to do the background work and say, now I'm ready. I'm ready. I can pick any problem from that section, similar to what we did in class, and I should be okay. And you have also at the end of each section, not section, but chapter, there's what it's called highlights. I really like to show my students this because sometimes they omit this. So here it is. I really, really like this section right here. Let's say at the end of chapter 2. The end of chapter 2 has a vocabulary check. It has highlights. And it goes on and on and on and on. Definitions and concepts and examples right next to it. Then the next and the next. All sections are here. Everything. And this is a perfect summary of what the chapter is all about. So the concept here and examples worked out from the beginning till the end on the second column. I would work on these as well. And again, if I have any questions or any concerns, I will ask my professor, but definitely I will watch those videos. The one from last semester on the same topics and the one from this semester. Now, my Labs class has a test review, has quizzes, has quiz preps, has test preps, has unit reviews, and they're all posted, as I said, in my Labs Plus, and they're very useful. No, I will not give credit for this. I will give credit for homework, which is practice, and I will give credit for homework that you turn in class. Any questions so far? Okay, getting help with math. There are these 6 resources listed here. My office hours that I recommend, and then you have my math lab, which is in room 206. In order to access their schedule, you have to look it up under www.aecc.edu tutoring. And there's a peer tutor program in which you get about, I think it used to be 15 now, I think it's limited to 10 hours per course per semester, one-on-one help. And you have to go to this website to sign up. And I recommend study groups. One of my best professors that I've ever had is a professor at UMBC. I'm This is my alma mater. I studied at the UMBC and I taught there for 10 years. And the best professor I've ever had, I don't remember his first name. It's very, very long, so I don't think I ever, I don't want to mispronounce it anyway. But his last name is Gauda. He was my best professor ever, ever. And I asked him many times. I said, well, how did you get this? How did you get that? How did you get to be such a good professor and explaining everything? You could walk into his class in the middle of the semester, sit down, not have zero knowledge about anything in the class, and you will still understand something. And he teaches 600 level courses. One of the courses that I enjoyed very much was a real analysis course. Anyway, so this was his answer. He said, I didn't know what I was doing at first, but when I started teaching and students started asking me questions, then things started coming into play or falling into place. What did he mean by that? Because we elaborated. He said, well, when I taught the material to someone, I understood it much better. So I recommend a study group, but if there are 10 people, that's going to be too, I think, difficult. But 2 or 3 people, when you try to make a topic clear or present a topic to one of your colleagues, things will fall into place in your head. It will be easier for you to understand when you start explaining it to somebody else. And it's true. I completely agree with him. Okay, so a study group, I highly recommend 2 or 3 students. You can meet before class if you have time and start explaining to each other or going over problems together. And I think that that's a very good way of studying, to study for the course. I can go on, you know, we don't have to go through or read right now all these. I have a commitment here that my commitment to you, it's on page 9. And I would like to finally go to the schedule. I did not put a target date, as you notice on the last 3 pages, 3 or 2, 2 pages. I did not put a target date. However, of course, we start today. And this is what we are going to have to cover. All these sections will be covered right before test 1. And these are the sections we need to cover before test 2, and before test 3, and before test 4, and then the final exam. Okay? We will announce the tests ahead of time. Once we get closer, let's say we are right here in 4.5 and we have 3 more sections, then we'll discuss the date of the test for test 1. So that's why I normally have a target date for when I teach this class or any class online, because they have to pace themselves. But here I'm a little bit more flexible. It has never happened that I did not cover the entire material, ever. So I'm not afraid that if I fall behind a little bit, I'm not going to catch up. So that's not a problem. So far, it has never happened. Any questions about the syllabus? Any questions? Yes, please.
So we need the My Math Labs Plus in order to take this class, or we can just use the textbook for homeworks and stuff.
You will use the textbook for homework that are due in class, that you have to turn in every Wednesday except this Wednesday. So what we cover today and Wednesday will be a homework due the following Wednesday. I recommend My Less Plus because it has video lectures also there.
So we don't need the My Last book.
There is homework there.
Oh, there is.
Yes, but that's only 5%. You can say, I don't care about that 5% because I'm going to gain my 95%. I'm still going to get an A in the class. But 5% comes from My Labs Plus. So that's the 5% for homework. The other 5%, don't forget what you want to say, the other 5% will come from homework that you're turning in class. Now, some students prefer the PDF file because they carry their laptop or tablet everywhere and it's convenient. They can read anywhere. But you have to have something. If you don't have My Labs Plus with everything in there and not the book, at least you have to have the book. I believe that the book is more expensive than the code. I'm not sure. Yes, please.
You said that the my last class online and all that. That's basically what
Absolutely. And you can type in, there is it gives you the option. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah, what happens, they every now and then they upgrade these computers, and I don't have the website, the link to get to the website. I think it's HTTPS. My notes. No, I don't remember what it is. Yeah, maybe there is no. Anyone remembers? Yeah, I had it saved. I should have just copy it. But I can do this next time. I'll be. Yeah, it only gives me an error message. Let me just check one other thing one more time. No. No, I don't have it handy. So sorry, I apologize for that. But I will have it for Wednesday, and I'll show you where to put in the number. So, for example, let's say your homework will be from page 215. Once you access the website and you go to the multi-library, multimedia library, then you select all, and then there is a little area where you can put the page number in. It will take you directly to that page number. Yeah, I'm sorry, for some reason and I looked for it today. On my home computer I have it bookmarked, but here I had it bookmarked, but every now and then they update everything, so they delete everything that you had bookmarked. Okay, very good. Other questions for me, please? Anything else? Anything else? Okay, I'd like to go to this. First of all, let me explain what this is all about. Again, I don't take credit for it. It was not my idea. It was my math department's idea. We want to tell our students let me rephrase. We don't want to tell our students anything. We want our students to realize whether they are prepared coming into this class or they're not prepared coming into this class. So we're going to go over these problems, and if I'm not going to look at your test or first day check activity, readiness check activity. I'm not going to look at it. But if your score is, so there are 7, okay? So if you don't have at least a 5, good. So solved correctly. Out of 7, you should make yourself a note or a mental note saying, I'm not ready for this class. I need help from day 1 if I want to go through it and be successful. I will do exactly what the syllabus says that I should do in order to study for this class, because I don't want to fall behind. I don't want to have to repeat it and pay for it again. And I need to move on to credit math. This is my last course before I move on to credit math, and I can mess this up. So this is what you should say to yourselves. Once again, you don't have to show it to me. I'm not going to collect it. But if you have less than 5 out of 7, you should make that mental note. I'm not ready, but I will, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to be successful in this class. Ready? Okay. So number 1, we're multiplying what by what? So how is this called, and how is this called? And yes, math has some sort of foreign language in it. some terminology like law has, like physics has, like every topic has a language, right? So this has a name and this has a name. And yes, we need to know what they are. What is the name of the first quantity? Say it again. Excellent. This is indeed a monomial. If you don't have pencil, if you don't have paper, please raise your hand and I'll share with you. Are you okay? You have everything you need? Everyone? Okay. What about the second one? Excellent. This is a binomial. So we are multiplying then one more time. A what by a what? Right. How many terms does a monomial have? 1. How many terms does a binomial have? Excellent. So then the result will have how many terms? Mandatory. Absolutely 2. We are multiplying a monomial by a binomial, so we have to have 2 terms. Excellent. So we're multiplying negative 2x by 3x squared. So what do we get? I'm sending a quick email to our assistant. Maybe she has the website, so I can. Okay, so can anyone tell us how to multiply negative 2x by 3x squared? And what do we get? Yes, please.
Negative 6x.
So negative 6x to the third power. Do we all agree with this?
Yeah.
Perfect, excellent. So then the next term, or the second term, what does this?
Plus 10.
Plus 10x. Do we all agree with this? Okay, so if you did this correctly, so you have already 1 out of 7. Okay, problem 2. Solve the inequality and graph the solution set. Also, I want to draw your attention on the back. This is a very important document as well. So it lays out all the steps that you need to follow based on your major. If this is your pathway, or if this is your pathway. So if you find your major here or here, then you know what you have to do. So if you find it here, this is what you should be doing. If you find it here, then you have to take 141 and beyond for calculus. If that's not your path, then you should find your major in here. Okay, so coming back, how do I solve an inequality? This is actually what I'm going to start with today is a quick review. So how do we solve this inequality? Can anyone give us the first step? Yes, please.
Subtract 3x from 8x.
Yes. In other words, combine like terms on both sides. Simplify both sides as much as possible. Very good. So this is 7x plus 9 greater than or equal to?
5x plus 1.
Very good. What will be the next step then? Yes, please.
What I did from there is I subtracted 5x from both sides.
Very good. So in other words, subtracting 5x from both sides really means moving one term to the other side. So I'm moving 5x from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, which it will only result in changing its sign. So 7x minus 5x is 2x. Also, I recommend doing steps, if possible, condensed. If not, you don't have to. So I'm moving 9 to the other side, or subtracting 9 from both sides. So 1 minus 9 will be Good. What will be the final step here?
Find both sides of this.
Excellent. So then finally from here I have x, and the right hand side is -4. Do I keep the same symbol?
Yes.
Very good. So if I want to present or graph the solution set on this real line, so first of all I have to signify or put somewhere in the middle 0. Then I will have to look where -4 is. Is it to the left or to the right? I know it's a silly question. So since the equal symbol, I will use a full point, not an empty point. Which direction am I going? To the left or to the right? Right. I prefer using the bracket notation. So this is infinity. And then when I copy this in interval notation, I will write that x is in the interval between -4, comma, infinity. -4 with a bracket because it includes the equal symbol. The infinities, positive or negative, will always be open. We call them, or parentheses. So once again, if you got these two, you have 2 out of 7. Graph the linear equation. I will specifically request using x and y, bless you, intercepts. Using x and y intercepts. How do I find the x-intercept for any graph, for any function? Yes, please.
You want to get x by itself on one side.
No, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong at all. But that's not what I want to do. I'm using x and y intercepts. I'm not using the slope. Because the slope is limited to a line. You will never be able to graph any function using the slope. Just this one. Yes, please.
Set y to 0.
Yes. So we are setting y equal to 0 in order to find the x-intercept. For finding the x-intercept, we have to set y equal to 0. Okay. So please set y equal to 0 in this equation and give me x. When you set y equal to 0 in this equation, all you have to do is just cover that term. It's gone because y is 0, then 2y is 0. So how much is x? Indeed, -x equals -10 makes x equals 10. So can anyone right now give us the ordered pair that we need to graph, which will represent the y-intercept? Forgive me, the x-intercept. What is the order? Yes, please.
10, 0.
Excellent. Very good. 10, 0, so which is right here. So that is the x-intercept. Now, how do I determine the